I wanted to talk a little bit today about why vaccines are specifically so important to me. The Southern Alliance for Public Health Leadership spends a lot of its time talking about vaccines, how important they are to public health, and uh, the difference they can make in a community, and honestly, in protecting a community. Um, but a lot of this also comes from personal experience for me. There are vaccines that are available today that weren't available when I was a kid. There are vaccines that weren't available when my kids were really young. And I wanted to share just a brief story about one specific experience and how that's really driven my passion to protect vaccines and vaccine access. Um, so when my daughter was about 3 years old, uh, she had a cold, and as a parent, we've all been through those times where uh, we've had a sick kid with a cold, and you just kind of plug along. You just deal with it. You just hope it goes away. You probably get it yourself. Um, but in this case, it didn't go away. And we noticed after a few days, she was also my daughter was also starting to have some problems breathing. So we got one of those little pulse oximeter readers. So they take your oxygen level, and she it was low, and so we took her to the emergency room in Columbia, South Carolina, and she had RSV, and that RSV had developed into pneumonia, and had then developed into sepsis. And it's really scary as a parent to go into the ER with your child. That's probably obvious. But one of the specific things that happens when you have a kid with RSV is they really have to take some of the snot, basically, out of the airways so the kids can breathe a little bit better. And they use this suction tool that sucks the snot out of your kid. Um, and of course, kids, it's scary for kids, and it doesn't feel good. And so what they do is they wrap your child tightly in a blanket to it's almost like a straitjacket to hold them as still as possible so they don't wiggle around while this is happening. And to see that happen to your child, to see them screaming and to see them terrified, even as you're trying your best to calm them down and take care of them, it is. It's just one of the worst things I've ever been through, and I wouldn't ever wish that on somebody or a family. It is horrifying. So after that, our daughter ended up in the hospital for the better part of a week because she had to be on oxygen, and she had to stay there and sit with this little mask on her face for a week until she was able to breathe well again. And again, sitting there day after day, having to take this little kid-sized oxygen mask and make sure that it's sitting on my daughter's face right so that she can continue to breathe well, even though you know she hates it because it's uncomfortable. And sleeping in a chair every night, it's horrible. Absolutely horrible. And we have a vaccine now that prevents this. Is it going to prevent every case of RSV in every kid who's vaccinated? No, but it works, and it prevents the spread of RSV. It prevents kids from getting sicker than they might otherwise, it's a gift. And it's a gift, hopefully, to those parents so they don't have to go through the same things that I went through, and that our family went through, and that my daughter went through. And she's okay today. But that experience was horrible for all of us. And I wouldn't wish it on anybody. So as we see efforts to dismantle vaccine requirements, as we see efforts to limit access to vaccines, I hope you'll keep this story in mind. And I'd encourage you to talk to your community, talk to policymakers, talk to anybody who will listen about how important this stuff is. Because we can stop this. It doesn't have to be as bad as my experience was. We can help make sure that kids have the kind of access to vaccines that they need and save lives. So I hope you'll check out the Southern Alliance for Public Health Leadership. We have lots of great data and great information that can help you tell your story. And I look forward to sharing more.